Very, very disturbing thing that has happened at roadblocks, I've seen it once myself, is that we have seen pickets' cars being damaged by police using their truncheons.
We come to this roadblock. One of my mates got out to see what. Next thing we know, riot squad's on us. Smashed all my car in, dragged one of my mates out outside, handcuffed him and says to him, if you move you'll get this round your head. Dragged me out, trunging under the chin, says to me, if you'll move you'll get it. Meanwhile they smashed all my car in, front windscreen, back screen, side window, back door, wing and bonnet. Then they said, you've got to leave your car there, walk back to Yorkshire. So we're going up road, me and my other two mates. This gang of riot squad's coming down towards us, laughing and joking. They said, when you come tomorrow, lads, put a better fight up.
Sheffield Policewatch began back in the early days of the dispute. And we're now a group of approximately 40 people. In the last 5 months, we've visited 45 pits several times. We've made, it must be about 150 reports by now. The image that we get on the television often of the violent miners barely held back by the police, who are just about managing to restrain them, is not what we see. In a routine sense, we see the police overwhelming the miners in numbers, and as I've said, opting to use tactics which raise the tension and which make violence likely.
And I think another point about the way we observe is that we get to picket lines very, very early in the morning, and that we're there then for several hours, and we see how the events on a particular picket line unfold, so that if there is in fact a flare-up or some violent dispute, we can actually see that in the context of what the build-up has been on that morning. What happens depends entirely on what the police tactics are. They control the whole event. They stage manage the whole event. It's they who are in charge of what happens, and it's they who provoke what happens. One thing that constantly strikes me is the enormous sort of good nature and patience of the pickets, because they are subjected to enormous provocation and aggravation and insults, and they're extremely peaceable, and they put up with being pushed and shoved and told where to stand and so on. I mean, to an extent that actually surprises me. I mean, I doubt if I'd be as patient if I was in that situation. If you've got 50, even more police vehicles escorting into work a small handful of miners in such a way that there's no possibility of the picketing miners stopping those people and peaceably trying to persuade them not to go into work, you've got a situation which is actually created by the policing, which could well cause a breach of the peace. So whose peace are you protecting? Whose rights are you protecting?